Hi, everyone. It's Alderwoman Lenny Manaa-Hoppenworth of the 48th Ward, which covers Edgewater, parts of Uptown and the neighborhood of Andersonville, and several others. And we're very excited to talk about participatory budgeting in the next hour with you. We are going to have a bit of time for Q&A afterwards, and we have a whole slide deck to present. So thank you for being with us today. We're going to talk about what's on the ballot, what to expect, but first we're going to go through our community agreements, which we always do review before our events. So we have a slide up right now. It says a few words on it that are really important to us, including empowerment, anti-racism, community service, and joy. And these are values that we want to lead with every time we engage with you, and we are in service to you. We want to encourage people to be present, to strive to stay engaged, to be compassionate, turn curiosity into moments of tension, be generous, share your time, resources, and positive energy, and to be brave, knowing that we can ask clarifying questions and also expect unfinished business. Also know that this is not the only way to engage with the 48th Ward. Please do visit us on Bryn Mawr, email, phone us, and we'd also be happy to come visit you. So on the agenda today is all about participatory budgeting, and we're very excited to bring it to the 48th Ward for the very first time. We're very inspired by the 49th Ward just to the north of us. They were the first in the city to bring participatory budgeting to our neighbors. And so we're going to go over that today. First, we're going to go over this slide, which is going to go over the agenda for the next hour. So we already went through our community agreements. We're going to go through exactly what is participatory budgeting. We're going to go through what's on the 2024 participatory budgeting ballot, or PB, as we'd like to shorten it to. We're going to go over how to vote, and then looking ahead to PB 2025. And participatory budgeting, as I mentioned earlier, we are very excited to bring it to the 48th Ward. Every ward, 50 wards in Chicago, gets $1.5 million to spend on infrastructure projects in their own wards. And we want to bring participatory budgeting because it's a democratic process that allows people to become engaged in government. And so it allows community members to directly decide how to allocate a portion of our public budget, and community members identify infrastructure priorities and vote on them. And infrastructure could be anything that you see, including our sidewalks, our streets, our signs, our park benches. We're going to go over all the things that people brought forward this year to consider for our participatory budgeting. So this slide shows you in a nutshell exactly what it is. So the process is 4 steps. So we're going to brainstorm ideas with our community. We're going to develop proposals. We want everybody who has an idea to come forward and participate. And so we have been going out into the community, doing outreach to people, bringing people into rooms and talking about what's important to all of us. With all of that information, we vote, and then the city funds the top projects.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Alderwoman. And like she mentioned, we will now move forward with what is actually on the 2024 PB ballot. So what exactly is on the PB 2024 ballot. As the Alderwoman mentioned, it can be things such as streets and infrastructure, pedestrian improvements, benches, resurfacing of tennis courts, basketball courts, what have you. And then these were some of the final projects that were presented to us, and we finalized them with the PB facilitators in the committee. Yeah, we're really excited to show these all to you. One of the first things that we really looked at after talking to Senate administrators, after talking to parents, and after talking to young adults was just more safety around Senn High School. So we have introduced a project proposal called the Glenwood and Ardmore Raised Intersection. So this is meant to really slow traffic by having just a slight ramp on that intersection of Glenwood and Ardmore, and improves the visibility by having these like stamped out intersections, and it is also meant to reduce motor vehicle speeds, hence increasing pedestrian safety. So CDOT has already committed 250,000 for the intersection at Thorndale and Glenwood, and now our project would add a second raised intersection on Ardmore and Glenwood, with that project proposal costing $250,000. The next one that we have, if you've been around the Lakeshore Trail, you've probably seen these wooden benches. Right now, there are currently 13 wooden benches directly on kind of like the Lakeshore Trail that looks out onto the lake. And we are looking to upgrade those from wood to metal, and possibly with like these concrete and reinforcement slabs that you see on this picture here with the metal bench. There is also a conversation that was brought forward to us about, you know, the middle handle. And, you know, a lot of people have told us that that can include hostile architecture. So we are working with CDOT to at least identify and assess, given that a lot of our neighbors have brought that to our attention. And this project proposal is $100,000, if I'm not mistaken. Next one is more pedestrian safety, particularly around our T intersections. So T intersections are usually non-four-way, and they're like three or two ways. So you have an intersection going north and south, and then you have another intersection moving towards it, but it doesn't have like a continuous road. So it stops right there and kind of makes like a T. So we have three proposals that are looking to enhance that pedestrian safety. Um, Around these T intersections, we have bump out proposals at Olive and Glenwood. We have bump out proposals on Gregory and Clark. As you can see here, Gregory and Clark already has these non-permanent bump outs, and you can even see here on this picture that one of them's already to its side. Because they're not reinforced, cars can easily maneuver into it, causing potential harm to not only the infrastructure, but also to anybody trying to cross the street. And we're also looking to extend that over to Elmdale and Magnolia. So really, yeah, bump outs are really meant, as you can see here, to extend the sidewalk and reduce the crossing distance for pedestrians. So it provides more visibility for these pedestrians, and it really tells drivers to, hey, you're gonna have to slow down. You may not know when there are pedestrians that are trying to cross. And this project cost is $138,000. Next, we have a very, very interesting and exciting proposal, especially along Sheridan, and they are the Sheridan crosswalks plus pedestrian safety. So right now, if you've gone around the ward, you've probably seen these stamped crosswalks that make it seem like it gives you almost like a boulevard feel, but it also provides more visibility for drivers to making sure that they are aware of not only crosswalks, but of potential pedestrians. So we are thinking and proposing these decorative crosswalks alongside Sheridan and Rosemont, Granville, Glen Lake, Thorndale, and Ardmore. And then we're also looking at stamped intersections alongside Sheridan and Granville and Sheridan and Thorndale, which you can kind of see here. If you're a driver, it's happened to me before when I see kind of this paint on the bottom, and it makes it feel like the road is either slithering away from me, or and it just gives me a little bit more pause from accelerating in these areas, and it just reactionarily causes me to slow down. So that's the idea here. And yeah, it also helps improve the visibility, as I said, of these pedestrians. This with this project, it is about a $240,000 project proposal. $240,000 project proposal, excuse me. Next, we have the tennis court by Sanhai. Currently, it really is in just kind of these degrading conditions. We're looking to propose a project that not only resurfaces the Sun tennis court kind of on ridge, but also adds this pickleball striping. As we know, the trends and really the accessibility of the sport is trending upward. So we want to provide an option for people to vote on this as well. And the project proposal cost is $100,000 for this one. Next we get more into like park spaces and beautification. Then one of the proposals is nature play space. So currently at Sen Playground on Elmdale, there are community engagement opportunities that were taking place as to what can be enhanced, especially with like natural element, natural integration into that infrastructure, into that playground. So right now, the design hasn't been laid out, but we want to be able to help fund not only the design proposal, but more rounds of community engagement, and also set money aside for whatever the community really decides on, and being able to allocate funds to enhance this playground. It is going to be a collaborative effort. Again, the community engagement isn't done. They still have to design it, bring it up to the community and see what they think about it and provide their feedback. And this is going to be a very multi-generational effort too. It isn't going to be done just like right away, but we are looking to provide around $25,000 for this project proposal to really get it going and give it some momentum. Continuing on the beautification efforts, we also have just like a public art question and a public art project proposal. So we are able to use menu funds to be able to provide any sort of beautification, whether that be murals, whether that be sculptures, whether that be any sort of mosaics that you see alongside the 48th ward, especially alongside those underpasses under DuSable Lakeshore Drive. And we are looking to provide and allocate $50,000. I'm giving y'all's priority to help fund these projects moving forward, with the location of these designs and installation determined after the funding. As I mentioned, this is a $50,000 project proposal. Continuing on, talking about the youth and young adults and also these green spaces, there is this project proposal that was presented to us by Sen High regarding kind of like their Sen turf field and kind of like sports space. So right now it is currently a turf field, but it is not within the regulations to be able to hold official soccer, football, nor baseball games. So even though this is, as you can see, a multi-million-dollar project, we are looking to provide funding or allocate funding for not only CPS, but CDOT and also the Parks Department to be able to really envision how we can enhance the Senhai turf field to be able to provide all these all-in-one regulated field and kind of this vision. This is an example of Schurz Field in Schurz High School. They were able to do this, and this is what Senhai envisions their turf field to look like. As I said, this is going to be a multi-million-dollar project, a multi-year dollar project, but we're looking to provide a project proposal and potentially allocate $250,000 to get some momentum for this project as well. Last but not least on the specific projects is the Gowdy Elementary greenhouse. So Gowdy Elementary right now want to install not only a greenhouse, but a sensory garden. So with some of their students where they may be overstimulated inside the classroom, they can go outside and be with nature and have just some sensory infrastructure as well as a greenhouse to be able to just provide some sort of outlet for them. It does include a mix of hardscape and softscape elements. It is going to be wheelchair accessible. You can kind of look where they intend providing this, it is going to be on Foster. So, hey, maybe also for PB 2025, some pedestrian enhancement opportunities and conversations can be had to further enhance and to further provide just safety for our Gaudi students. And even though this is a $223,000 project, we're looking to allocate about $50,000, depending on what the community's priorities are. And then lastly, when it comes to the project proposals and also the ballot, we have a referendum question. So as we had mentioned, there are $1.5 million in total menu funds that every ward receives per year. And we are looking to allocate $1 million for participatory budgeting purposes. But so that leaves us $500,000 reserved for emergency repairs. So alley resurfacing, street resurfacing, because we recognize that these are regional and people in other areas might not necessarily prioritize a street or alley that doesn't pertain to them. We still reserve $500,000 to make these repairs. We do a site visit, and then we determine the necessity of making these repairs. So we are asking a question of the $1 million that we have set aside for participatory budgeting. Should we allocate additional funds to go into this emergency repair bucket? Just for context, the ward since 2022 has allocated on average $391,000 for street and alley resurfacing. So ideally and hypothetically, the $500,000 that we have right now should be able to cover if we are consistent with how much we spend every year on these types of repairs. But we still want to leave the question up to you, is how much of that $1 million should be added to this already $500,000 bucket. So we've kind of laid out the groundwork of what the projects are. We've talked about what participatory budgeting is. And now we can talk about kind of the fun stuff, which is really how to vote. And just as a quick reminder, voting is open right now, and it is going to be open until October 3rd. And we have a couple of avenues that y'all can take to be able to vote. But right now, I really want to talk about the voting methodology and the mechanisms. And that is ranked choice voting. So right now in the United States, a lot of our major elections are winner take all or first past the post. But we want to shake things up a little bit and really see how you want to prioritize your vote and really your project priorities. So this is also known as like an instant runoff voting. Ranked choice voting, or RCV, allows voters to rank their choices based on their preference. So it's pretty straightforward. You have the option to rank first, second, third, fourth, and fifth. And on the back end, there are going to be points allocated depending on your preference to that specific project. So if your first choice is the Gaudi greenhouse, it'll get 5 points. If your second choice is another project, it'll get 4, and so forth and so forth. So that basically tells you that if your first choice like isn't like the first top priority, it still allocates a point system, so it might be third or fourth in the overall voting choices and the overall decisions. So one, you can vote online actually. So to vote online, go to the 48thward.org. You're going to go to the development page. You're going to go to the drop-down page, select participatory budgeting. And then you're going to scroll down to this area where you can look at 2 options. You can view the PB projects for consideration in 2024, click the link where it says here, or you can go directly vote. And actually, I'm going to do like a quick run through and do just like a quick example for y'all, just for added context. So just excuse me for a second. Everybody can see that I'm on the 48th ward page, correct? All right. So as I mentioned, we are going to go to the lovely 48thward.org. We're going to go over here to development. You should see a drop down with participatory budgeting. We're going to click that. That leads us to another beautiful page that really explains participatory budgeting. And like I said, you're going to scroll down. If you want another chance to view the projects, you can do so by clicking here. And that'll takes us to another web page where you can view all of the Airtable and project proposals. Here, if you just give it a minute to load, it should provide, yep, all the project proposals. You'll be able to expand on these, look at the project description, look at the project costs, look at some of the renderings for context, and you can do that all with all of the projects on here. So after you feel like you've had an ample enough time to be able to look at them and make a decision, we actually provide another link to use the form to be able to vote directly. And what I love about this is that it actually expands to another window. So if you kind of forgot, oh, what was it that I wanted to vote on? You can just go back and forth to really look at your priorities. Here, it just gives you like a quick rundown, what the PB ballot is, what PB is, ranked choice voting, and it gives you a step-by-step in chronological order on how to actually vote. I'll just put this up here for 5 seconds, but again, like I said, I'll do like a quick run through. So we keep scrolling down, we'll keep scrolling down, and then you'll just add your information. You'll just add your information here. My name is Jorge Ivan. We'll put in your home address, your zip code, your email address for context, and then y'all will just confirm that you are a 48th Ward resident and you are at least 14 years of age. And then you'll get, once you check this off, you will get the ballot. So here you can put what your first choice is. You click this add button, and again, it'll give you the choices that you can select. And again, if you forgot or if you need a reminder, you can always go back here and just take a look at the project proposals. You'll select your first choice, you'll select your second choice, you'll select your third choice, your fourth choice, and finally your fifth choice. So as I mentioned, there are 9 project proposals, but you are voting your top 5. After you receive all of that, you will get this referendum question, as I mentioned before, how much of this $1 million should go to the additional $500,000 that we have currently set aside for emergency repairs. You will get an option to go from 0 up to 50% of the $1 million should go into these emergency repair funds. After that, after you've selected everything, again, I'm not going to do this, but you will click submit, and then voila, you have voted online. So pretty straightforward. I hope it's as easy and as efficient to navigate and to make your selections. One of the things that I do want to address is while you do have options to make your choices here, you will see that you have an option to basically put the same project all 5 times. We kindly ask that you reserve the opportunity to do that. If we do see an option voted more than once from one ballot, we will just take the highest priority ballot and allocate those points based on the highest priority that it was selected on. So that is a quick rundown on how to vote online. And going back to the presentation, not only can you vote online, but you can actually vote in person. So there are 4 polling locations scattered throughout the 48th Ward where you can actually go in and vote. So you have one here directly at the 48th Ward office located at 1129 West Bryn Mawr, the Edgewater Library at 6000 North Broadway, Chinese Mutual Aid or CMAA at 1016 West Argyle, as well as the Bazazian Library, which is located at 1226 West Ainsley. So there, you can kindly ask the branch manager, whoever is at the front desk, where the PB ballot is, and they will direct you to a ballot box plus a binder, where when you open up the binder, you will see on the left side are the ballots. And if you flip through the binder, you should be able to see all of the project proposals as well as the referendum question at the very end. So once you fill that out, you rank your choices 1 through 5, you fold it up and you kindly put it into the ballot box. And our PB committee and facilitators periodically will go in and collect those ballots. So as I mentioned, yep, all of these ballot boxes and binders are located at these 4 locations: 48th Ward office, Edgewater Library, CMAA, and the Bazazian Library. So now I've kind of gave you a rundown of what's on the ballot, how you can vote, and actually we're looking to get started right away for PB 2025. We've learned our lessons. And yeah, I will let the Alderwoman talk a little bit more about what you can expect from 2025.
Thank you, Jorge. Bon. I want to thank you, our Director of Development, for creating such a fantastic process where our neighbors can easily participate. And we're excited to start on our second round of PB for 2025. So these are the 4 themes that we have come upon. 1, streets and infrastructure. 2, green space and environment. 3, youth and schools. 4, arts and beautification. And we're just excited. We love the fact that ages all the way from 14 and up can join in these conversations. So our timeline is laid out on this screen here, starting at the end of September, early October. We'll start our first meeting and also schedule other PB meetings. September through November, we're going to continue community engagement, and that includes tabling at other events. And if you have other ideas on how we can reach all parts of our community, please let us know. November through December, we'll be compiling all the renderings, cost estimates, and project viability information from our different departments and submit traffic studies. And then on from there, we will continue to build out the projects, select the final projects for the 2025 ballot. In February, we will present the projects. In March, PB 2025 voting will be much earlier next year, starting in March. And then in April, we'll have everything approved and submitted. So one way that you can also help to engage your neighbors is by hosting your own community engagement meeting. And information is here. You can reach out to development@the48thward.org. And we'll come to you with some questions like, when would you like to have this meeting? How many do you expect to join us? And where would you like to meet? And also, we would love to help you turn other people out. So working together is the way that we're going to be able to engage all of our neighbors.